for debate.
And in this week's local news, a man is wearing a low-cut swimsuit as though a public pool is some kind of sun-kissed Sardinian cove. In other news, China's veteran reporters blast the decline of traditional state-run journalism. A new study finds human hearing is most acute when listening to arguing parents from the top of the stairs. And fireflies almost managed to salvage a local man's shitty day.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Yes, you're in the right place for Free Talk Live, the live Saturday night edition. Our toll-free number here, of course, is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, like freedom, which is a topic that is near and dear to all of our hearts here, coming to you from our Keene studio live on a Saturday night. And with you tonight, it's myself, the Reverend Captain Kickass, and I'm joined by...
Ian.
He is indeed Ian. If you haven't met him, there he is. Everyone, Ian, everyone. I'm not in as joyous a mood as I appear because...
Why not?
Well, I keep, running across these articles and, show
it's
prep
depressing.
That it's like, I'm like, really? Like, as if, like, statism wasn't bad enough. Here's yet another thing that
they might kill you.
I hadn't really thought to do, and somebody, of course, did, and they wrote an article about it. This is from the Free Thought Project by Jack Burns.
There's not a whole lot of optimistic news at the Free Thought Project, at least not the stories that I ever come across. It's always like police abuse and government corruption. And
yeah, and I mean, and like... they do their homework, right? It's not like this stuff doesn't factually check out, It's not like I'm reading fake news.
No, they've cited their sources usually. I mean, it's a strong libertarian editorial viewpoint at that website, so it's not – I don't think that they could claim to be like an unbiased news source or anything like that. It's highly biased, but it's biased in the way that we like it.
Yeah. So at any rate, I've sort of been on top of – all the statistics of what police do, how many dogs they kill, or, the number of citizens killed by police. And there's, there's a few websites that track that you can go to. But
there's Puppyside, which tracks the dog killings.
Puppyside.com or .org,
I'm sure if you search for it, you can find it.
If you use your favorite privacy search engine, like DuckDuckGo or something, you can find the answer to that, Puppyside. But this particular article, the headline is, "Shocking Study Shows Police Chases Over Minor Crimes Kill Thousands of Innocent Bystanders."
Horrifying.
Now, it hadn't occurred to me that minor crimes that turn into chases would result in police killing the people who are running away. Until I read this article.
Well, it said innocent people. I mean, I haven't read the story yet, but I presume that also means bystanders.
It says specifically thousands of innocent bystanders. So,
I mean, even though a lot of these so-called crimes are probably victimless, they're also just killing people who are nearby, running into other people's cars, or
it takes me immediately to the UPS thing, right? Remember they were they shot up the UPS truck or whatever. And like a bunch of innocent bystanders also got shot because they just unloaded.
They were there.
That's what, it kind of brought that to mind. But there
was another story out of New York City a couple of years ago where, it's New York City. There's people around. And there was a officer-involved shooting. They were after some perp or whatever.
Right.
And, they blasted at least one innocent person. Plus, you're in a place with a bunch of people. Bullets are going to go through somebody in a lot of cases as well.
Yeah, or even things, right? More modern buildings, or the less costly a building, like particularly some of these, manufactured homes that are so popular now. They're made out of nothing. I mean, a bunch of insulation and some paper, right? We call it drywall, but I mean, it's thin material.
Not going to stop bullets.
Yeah, not going to stop a bullet. I mean, it's barely going to stop like a dart, right? Like out of one of those breathing guns, whatever you call them. Yeah,
a blowgun.
A blowgun. Yes,
guns.
a breathing gun.
It's fun being in the first chair, isn't it?
Oh, breathing gun. Yes, more from me tonight. I hope you're all prepared for the weird and sometimes obscure vernacular that's going to come out of my mouth on Free Talk Live.
I'm ready. Bring it on.
So, at any rate, the article starts out, we've long known police officers shoot and kill on average about 1,000 citizens in the U.S. Every year for a variety of reasons. I laugh not because it's funny but because it's 1,000 citizens every year.
Yeah.
And has been for quite some time. And that's not shocking. This is the lead in. We've known for a long time. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's way worse than in the U.S. than in other countries. Like, there's other countries where they go years without shooting somebody.
It has been 7,000 days since the last officer shooting.
Yeah.
That's a sign you'll never see in the United States.
They know they can get away with it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that all police are psychopaths, but because I think some of them really did get into it for the right reasons. They want to try to catch the bad guys, and I don't know what percentage of the police are in it for the right reasons, but I know that if you're a psycho and you want to kill somebody legally, you can join the military.
Yep.
And you can join the police.
Yep. Sometimes the post office.
Well, they kill their own, right? Like the postal shootings or whatever.
Did you write this article?
I did not.
The very next, it's not even the end of the sentence where I stopped. The very
I haven't read it either.
So there's a comma. So it says, I'll read you the whole sentence, and then I'll pause where the comma is. We've long known police officers shoot and kill on average about 1,000 citizens in the U.S. every year for a variety of reasons, comma, none of which seem to take place in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you had just pointed out. So
that's not to say that the police aren't deadly or violent in other places in the world. I mean, for instance, if you get picked up by the Chinese secret police or whatever and black bagged, you may never be seen again, right?
Yeah.
Or you put into a Uyghur Muslim detention camp in
they start taking your organs.
Western China. Yeah, I mean, so that's not to say that other cops aren't scary or that the KGB or whatever their equivalent is these days in Russia won't really give you a really bad time.
Right.
But this is what we're dealing with, and 1,000 people, most of which are completely innocent and or not proven guilty at the point at which that they're killed.
Right.
So tragic. And that doesn't include the dogs.
So the article says, we were shocked to learn just how many motorists and innocent bystanders are killed by cops every year when officers give chase to suspects. The numbers are quite staggering. According to a recently published research study by the Fine Law Firm and 1.21, or is that, I.21, 1.21? Interactive. Over 2,000 citizens over a 4-year period were killed by cops as police were chasing suspect vehicles. Surprisingly, more
How many? I'm sorry.
2,000. Over. 2,000.
What period of time?
According to over 2,000 over a 4-year period.
Okay.
So
that's a lot.
500 a year or thereabouts, right?
Yep, that's a lot of people.
Were killed by cops as police were chasing suspect vehicles.
You were minding your own business.
Surprisingly,
driving to work or driving home or whatever, going to a friend's house, and then all of a sudden, some police cruiser comes blazing down the street and rams into the backside of your car.
Yep. Or comes screeching around a corner because they,
you get T-boned.
Yep.
And they were after, probably, they said for like minor stuff too, right? Like this is some piddly crap that they were chasing this character for. Some departments, by the way, have a policy of not chasing because of this.
Oh, that's the right policy, in my opinion, because the chase only endangers more people, right? We've seen the highway chases, right?
We've exciting.
Seen that.
It's exciting for the officers involved. They can catch a perp.
If it bleeds, it leads, I guess, between the news and the jacked up,
Think about the adrenaline. Think about the adrenaline rush.
You want adrenaline? Go like commercial fishing for shark, right?
Well, if you like speed, go to a speedway. You can do that.
Yeah,
they have these things where, you're a speed junkie. You want to go and race with a bunch of other people that don't care about getting into wrecks or whatever. They're not as worried about that. You can go drive around in circles and, have a blast. But don't put the rest of us in danger.
So 2,000 citizens over a 4-year period were killed by cops as police were chasing suspect vehicles. Surprisingly, more than half of those killed were not the suspects.
Gee.
More than half. I mean,
Yeah.
They say surprisingly. Am I surprised?
No.
I mean, reading the article for the first time, perhaps. But, I mean, when you think about it, it's the state. They're only good at one thing. They only have one way of doing anything, and that is coercion and violence.
What are the crimes for which a high-speed chase is acceptable?
Well, we'll delve
what I'd
into
like to know.
We'll delve into more of that when we come back. 855 450 free.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org. Don't miss this year's LibertyCon with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO John Mackey, Congressman Justin Amash, and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith. Attend 2 spectacular debates. Is government necessary, and does capitalism require government intervention? Network with over 70 pro-liberty organizations. This and a whole lot more. April the 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. Visit LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on LibertyCon.com.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
There are basically 2 types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Yes, this is Free Talk Live, the live Saturday night edition. We are coming to you live from the LRN.FM studios in Keene, New Hampshire. And I'm your host tonight, the Reverend Captain Kickass, and I'm joined by...
I'm Ian.
And I wanted to tell you about the First Consultants. Are you 100% sure that you're going to have a great retirement, or do you have some doubt? I know I have some doubt. Tom Young, the author and founder of the CFO Project, can show you how to be debt-free in 9 years or less, including your mortgage, without spending a single dollar more. With the current state of the federal debt at $23 trillion and the unfunded liabilities at $127 trillion, you can't wait to take control of your money. Don't let your retirement savings be used to bail out the government. Instead of a building plan, Tom can show you how to create strategies now to save money without penalties and as little government involvement as possible. His new book, The Family Money Farm, The CFO Project, will show you exactly how to build wealth and eliminate debt at the same time. Get your free copy now at cfo-project.com. Invest in yourself and your family today. Get your free copy of The Family Money Farm, The CFO Project, at cfo-project.com. And speaking of money, real quick, while we're sort of on the topic, I noticed gold.
Ooh.
7-year all-time high. Did I see that correctly?
Yeah. I mean, it's up there. It's not the all-time high, but the all-time high was around just under $1,900 back, like 2012, 2011, somewhere in that range.
But the highest in 7 years, is that right?
Yeah, it's up there. That's $1,645, I think, right now. $1,645 for an ounce of gold.
And weird how that coincides with a recent drop in the stock market.
Well, the funny thing is, it's not coinciding. Silver isn't doing the same thing. Whereas whereas 8, 9, 10 years ago, however long it was, they both spiked up at the same time, roughly. Silver's not following the gold pattern this time. Gold's going up, silver isn't.
Huh. I wonder what that's about.
I don't know. I don't know what markets are doing.
Yeah.
I don't like people who try to tell me either. What do you know?
So I don't know anything about, the stock market per se. Here's what I do know. Economics is really pretty simple. A lot of people think economics is very complex and only the super smart mathematician and checkbook balancers are smart enough to figure out what the economy is doing and how no, it's really all just gambling.
That's how I feel about it.
It's just like
Vegas.
You know? It's you can't really know ever. I mean, you can make some pretty informed decisions with investments and things like that. But other than that,
you never know what the market's going to do.
And I'm not an attorney, so this is not legal advice. But
nor are you an investment advisor.
Nor am I an investment advisor. But
I don't trust those people.
I if I'm going to invest in a thing, I'm sticking with things that I use.
That makes sense.
And as a place for starting out, if you're just starting out investing, that is the place that I would recommend. Invest in companies that make things that everybody uses every day, like, toilet paper, for example.
Yeah, that's not going out of style.
Not going out of style. You're not going to make a whole bunch of money, but what you will do is get a steady return year over year, right? By investing in, this very important, commonly used thing.
Some would say you'd be better off actually buying toilet paper and storing it. They were actually talking about that on our Discord server recently, is holding a bunch of toilet paper rolls in case the S hits the fan, and
then the TP,
and then people will be in high demand. They're going to be willing to pay top dollar for your stack of toilet paper.
I can't really argue with that, but get into it somehow, right?
Yeah.
Whether you're buying the physical good itself or you're or both, right? If you think it's that valuable, why would you not do both, right? If you have money to invest or you're playing any kind of stock market thing, my personal thought would be to throw some money into the old TP. So we were talking prior to our sponsors' announcements about this article from the Free Thought Project about thousands of innocent bystanders being murdered or otherwise killed. I don't know, murder has to have intent,
it's
right?
It's negligent.
So, death being caused by police chasing.
Right.
And we were talking about some stats there, and an analysis by the Fine Law Firm and 1.21 Interactive found that there were 1,699 fatal crashes involving police chases from 2014 to 2018, killing at least 2,005 people, 1,123 were not the driver of the fleeing vehicle. So that is more than half. We were talking about the numbers.
And the rest of them that were the driver of the fleeing vehicle never had a chance to have a trial.
No.
So we don't know if they were actually guilty of the thing that they did. Now, some people say, well, if you were guilty, why would you run from the police? Well, maybe there are different reasons why they were running from the police. Maybe they had a bag of weed in their car and they were worried that they were going to get caught. I mean, some people would say nobody would run from the cops for that, but you don't know why people are running from the cops. Sometimes they're just scared. They don't know what to do.
Some people react fight or flight.
Yeah.
Right? It's a binary reaction that is a survival instinct of the human species, right?
Yeah.
And when
and
you're
these
confronted,
people are killers.
And, quite honestly, most people flight, right? Most people run when it comes to a thing, right? If there's a shooting somewhere in a public place, most people run. They scatter like cockroaches.
I've known people who have not committed a crime, but have told me that they have run from the cops simply because they knew they could. They had a badass motorcycle or something like that, and they knew that they could outrun the cops.
I've got a 1972 Cuda with a 440 six-pack in it, and, when I step on the gas, I can watch the gas gauge go down.
Yep. And in that case, they didn't commit a real crime. They just ran from the cops, and in some cases, they got away with it.
That's a shout-out to my brother's friend, Chris, who wanted to be a NASCAR driver. He owned some pretty badass cars back in the day in his youth. I got to ride around in a few of them. And, fast cars, are definitely scary machines, but they're also fun.
Yeah, motorcycles, even scarier. I mean, you're much more likely to die if you're a motorcycle rider, just period.
All right, so before we continue with the article, let's go to Jimmy in Missouri. Jimmy, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Oh, well, okay. It's kind of a weird story. I got a coworker, and he recently somehow kind of was selected to get $50,000 from this Twitter philanthropist.
Huh.
Tell me more.
Yeah, this guy's name's Bill Pulte or something like that. It's kind of a weird name. It's Pulte. Anyways, he is a real person. He is a real millionaire who is on Twitter giving away money. And
so your friend
somehow
is getting some?
Yeah. Why was your friend chosen? Did he respond to some sort of contest, or you just happened to tweet at him and he just picked him?
Basically, that's it. You just had to follow the guy, and he might pick you to win some money. And so my coworker, he was one of the people picked for that. But here's the
Hold that thought. We want to get to the rest of your story.
Okay.
We want to make sure you had time for it, so stand by.
Hang on, Jimmy. Our toll-free number here, of course, is 855-450-3733. Have you ever won millions from a philanthropist?
I'd be all right with 50,000.
Jimmy says he knows a guy who knows a guy or something. So we're going to find out more about that.
What's the catch?
What's the catch, Jimmy? More coming up.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
The chimpanzee spends most of its day in the jungle, carelessly swinging from tree to tree and picking mites off itself, instead of building shelter and teaching itself how to read. This chimp is named Bolo, and researchers at Duke University have shown that he can solve three-dimensional logic puzzles, an impressive feat indeed, until you learn that human children as young as 3 are also able to solve the puzzle. Even a mentally handicapped human is capable of verbal speech, something no chimpanzee has ever been able to accomplish, despite working vocal cords capable of howling in irritation after soiling itself. Chimps have been observed using tools, but their tools are little more than sticks. Even driving and preparing pancakes, tasks we leave to the stupidest, least educated humans, lay beyond the capabilities of the chimp.
This is the Onion News Network.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Yes, this is Free Talk Live. Our toll-free number here, of course, is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. And I wanted to tell you a bit about Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. That's local.bitcoin.com. And we've been talking a bit about some interesting statistics from police and what happens and how many people die as a result, innocent people die as a result of police giving chase to potential suspects. And then we had a caller, Jimmy, who was telling us about a Twitter philanthropist whose name is Pulte.
Bill Pulte. And his Twitter handle is Pulte. Seems legit.
Yeah, and we're going to bring Jimmy back, but I wanted to just read this paragraph that I found during the break. Bill Pulte is the avowed inventor of Twitter philanthropy, which he describes as giving food, necessities, rent, and more to people in need. He is now known by many simply by his Twitter handle of @Pulte, Pulte. He was well known in parts of Michigan, but not nationwide before @Pulte started just giving away money to people on Twitter. So, Jimmy, you're back with us live on Free Talk Live.
Yeah. So, my friend, he said that the guy sent him a private message, and basically he had to download the Cash App, and that this would be sent through the Cash App. Well,
wait, I've not used the Cash App. Is that something pretty mainstream?
Yeah, Cash App is the Square product. It's by the company Square.
Yep.
And they are the #1 free app for finance on the Android App Store, I believe, at this time, and have been for some amount of time. So it's kind of like a PayPal sort of thing where you hold a balance in dollars.
It's like a Venmo or something?
Yeah, but it can be used for business. Venmo's not allowed to be used for business.
Okay. All right.
But so, I can send you Cash App. I can send you dollars over Cash App. Also, Cash App is noteworthy because a year or two, probably like 2 years ago, they started allowing their customers to buy Bitcoin.
Oh.
And they, being the #1 free app, they have a large reach. So they were able to kind of introduce millions of users to Bitcoin for the first time, and they make it relatively easy for people to buy with the balance that they have.
And I just want to say for our listeners, just because you're a host of this program doesn't mean you don't learn things from this program. I have just learned 3 things, so hopefully you did too.
So let me see if I got this straight, though. Was it Jimmy?
Jimmy, right.
Yeah.
So your brother received a message from this Pulte guy. Was there a contest he entered, or was it just because that he was a follower of Pulte? Did he tweet to him? Was there something that spurred this to happen?
No, he's a coworker.
Oh, so he knows the Pulte guy in person? I'm sorry.
No.
He's a coworker of yours. I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's my coworker, and he heard from, I think it was Mr. Beast, another internet philanthropist who gives away thousands of dollars and everything. That this guy, if you followed him on Twitter, that you might be eligible to get some, free, money and everything.
Okay.
So he did that, and this Pulte guy sent him a message saying, "Hey, I'll give you $50,000." And
50 large, 50, right? 50,000.
Just randomly, out of nowhere. He didn't specify why or anything like that. Just like you're a follower of mine. Here's 50 grand. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Just a random selection. And so my coworker, he downloaded the Cash App.
Right.
And problem is if you receive over $250
Yeah.
over the Cash App, they need a 2-factor authorization.
KYC, right?
Right.
And he can't receive, they only let you receive, I think it's $1,000 at a time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've never heard of that kind of volume being sent over Cash App. I don't think it's intended for large transfers like that. So what happened?
Well, he contacted the guy and, asked him if there's any other way he could send the money. And the guy said, "No, we only use Cash App." And he even contacted Cash App, and they said that they'd get back to him within 24 hours on some of this stuff, which, I don't know how likely that is.
Okay, but how
when did this happen?
Yeah, that's my question. How long ago, did they reach out?
Yesterday.
Okay, this is fresh. Okay, so let me see if I've got this straight. He's actually talking to the real Pulte, right? Like this isn't like an imposter account or some sort of potential scam artist or something like that?
As far as I know, he showed me the message he got and everything, and it looked legitimate. But the only thing that bugs me about any of it, even though it was the real account, was there was also this little thing at the bottom that said something about buying a $500 eBay card to up your allowance of money on the Cash App, and I thought that almost sounds like a Nigerian scandal.
That sounds like a scam.
It's funny you say that, because when you started your call announcing that a buddy of yours was getting some money from a tweet, the first thing I thought was, this sounds like the Nigerian prince scam from the old email days.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be curious to see. It's possible that he got contacted by somebody who's using a username. I'm just guessing here, right? Like, somebody who's registered the Twitter handle Polte with like a I instead of an L, right? Like a capital I. You know what I mean? The capital I looks a lot like the lowercase L.
Yep.
So it may not actually be the real guy. I don't know how much due diligence this guy has done, but anything that requires you to spend money to get some money is likely to be a scam. So he should be very, very careful.
He hasn't done a whole lot of due diligence because he's not really that sort. He's not super responsible.
Well, I mean, if you're his friend, maybe help him out. But at the same time, I'm very curious, and I want to say thanks for the call, Jimmy. Keep us up to date.
Yeah, let us know what happens with this.
Yeah, definitely let us know how
I hate these scammers,
out.
man. They are so tricky. They're very smart. And you know what? They have nothing better to do, right? So if you are in Nigeria or wherever it is these people are, right, because you don't know,
right?
You just go register this account, make it look like Bill Polte's account, and then you just go to Bill Polte's 2 million followers and just start sending messages. You send messages to 2,000 of those 2 million followers, and you get 1% of them to fall for your trick.
That's a success.
You've had a tremendous amount of success. Yep. And if you can snag $500, it was a $500 gift card, right? Okay, you send a $500 gift card, you'll qualify for more money from Bill Polte. Well, you just sent that guy $500. Can you imagine how far $500 goes in Nigeria?
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? Like, you might have just paid that guy's rent for the next 5 months.
Indeed.
And that means he's got nothing better to do than sit there and hit up another 2,000 of this guy's followers with this potential scam.
I mean, it looks like, from the news anyway, that Bill Polte is a real dude.
Real deal.
And, is actually doing, some of this philanthropy type
I'm following him right now.
Activities. So it's not to say that it couldn't be legit and, on the up and up. But
it doesn't sound... But the thing about the gift card is like, red alert.
Do your homework, stay alert, read all of the fine print and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
855, 450 free like freedom. We're going to have more of your thoughts coming up. Stay tuned. What do you think? Is giving away money on Twitter a cool thing to do? Give us a call.
Feel like many of us, all the distractions in the world taking our minds and focus off what really needs to get done day to day? Well, Jeunesse has a dietary supplement called Mind to help with mental distraction, and it supports memory function. Go to gcnlife.com now to check it out. You're only at your best when your mind is at its best. Go to gcnlife.com or call toll-free 844-443-6637. That's gcnlife.com or 844-443-6637.
I don't even recognize myself anymore.
I'm really worried about him. His addiction. I haven't seen him like this. Ever.
Hey, look, I never wanted to start using. I knew the drill, but I was out of options.
I just want to tell him it's not your fault. There are people out there who can help. People who have felt your pain. They know what you're going through.
This has to stop. I'm losing everything. Everyone.
You've been strong your whole life. You can do this, but you have to reach out for help.
It's time. I can do this.
Addiction is a disease, and diseases need treatment.
Call Quit Drugs 321 now at 800-377-1456. 800-377-1456. That's 800-377-1456. Paid for by the Detox and Treatment Helpline.
Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I started fighting the IRS over 40 years ago when they tried to seize my mother's house. I sued the IRS and won. I beat the IRS then, and I've been beating them ever since. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I've helped thousands of people deal with tax problems they thought might never be solved. I can help you too. If you owe taxes you can't pay, don't wait another day. There's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com, That's danpilla.com, danpilla.com.
This is novelist Tom Robbins. When my mother was diagnosed with glaucoma, her conservative Virginia physician told her there was only one treatment that might ease her pain and save her eyesight. That treatment was medical marijuana, which he could not prescribe. I offered to get her some and teach her how to use it effectively, but my father objected because marijuana was against the law. So my mother, who loved to read and walk in nature, was condemned to grow cruelly, unnecessarily blind. Tragedies like this happen all the time, but they don't have to keep happening. To learn more about medical marijuana, call the Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or visit them on the web at mpp.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Yes, welcome to the live Saturday night version of Free Talk Live. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We're going to have your calls and thoughts coming up. But first, I wanted to take a minute and thank an amplifier. If you don't know what an amplifier is, here at Free Talk Live, we have a program called AMP, and that stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. We only ask $5 a month is the minimum ask. You can give more if you like. We have different levels. And Sky is a gold amplifier, and we would like to thank Sky, be it a he or she, for donating to us and helping us get on currently over 200 radio stations, and then, of course, our streams and, all the other things that we do as far as broadcast is concerned. Sky has helped us make that happen. We could be on more radio stations and outlets with your help. And to learn more, you can visit amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com. So we've been talking about, a variety of things. A lot of things about cops. We've been talking about some philanthropy activity.
And scams.
But let's go to your calls and your thoughts. We have Michael calling from Daytona Beach, Florida. Michael, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, good evening, guys.
Hey.
I wanted to talk with you about your deal with cops are shooting people.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm in Holly Hills, Florida, and several years ago, I had a cop break into my house, come through the back, busted the back window in my house, and shot me in the back.
Jeez.
Actually, they had SWAT team all around me. And for 4 years, they had me on pretrial intervention where I had to go and was subject to a drug test. It's kind of like probation, only instead of checking in once a month, I checked in every week. Monday morning, I checked in.
What were they there for? What was the reason for the raid?
Okay. The reason that they came to my house was I was dating a girl, dancing girl. By the way, right now I'm 64 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She is 33 now. I was dating a young girl, and she was out of place. It was during Bike Week in Daytona. We have a week where we have a lot of bikes in town, and it was actually Biketoberfest, and she was riding with me that week. At the end of the evening, she had gotten a little bit intoxicated, and I said, "I'm taking you home." Well, I took her to her house. She didn't want to get off the bike. She wanted to stay with me, and I lifted her off my bike and put her on the sidewalk. She stumbled and fell into the street.
Ooh.
And a cop was going home. It was about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. A cop was going home, and he saw her get up and me leave the scene. He didn't see me taking her off the bike, and actually I took her off 4 times. She fell down, and it was because she was drunk.
Right.
That's why I took her home. And I had her at her house. The cop called in another cop because he was going home. He called a cop who had just come on the shift. He came out, called me and asked me to come back, and I said no. He said, we're investigating a domestic violence. There was nothing domestic about my relationship with her, other than we were friends with benefits.
Right.
And there was there was nothing violent about the fact that I gently picked her up. She's a beautiful woman, and I was glad to have her be in my fender ornament during the event. But I'd only known her about 6 years. The cop brought her from Daytona to Holly Hill, where I lived. He went across the city line, and they come to my door. I had already parked my bike, and I was in the house. I was actually naked, getting ready to get in the shower. When I heard the banging at the door, I walked out to the front door, and I heard a man's voice, and I heard her voice. And I just pretended like I wasn't home. I didn't want a confrontation with her. I figured maybe one of her neighbors brought her back to my house.
Right.
So the cops came around to the side of my house and broke through 2 fence gates to get into my backyard. They came to my back door, cut the screen in my screen enclosure, came into my house, and at that point, I was on the other side of the door. I could hear them talking. And they were telling her that she lived there. She said, that she knew me, that we had been out riding all day. And she had left a few things in the house, but it wasn't nothing she couldn't get the next day. I would be glad to be with her the next day. Consequently, the cops told her, "You live here," and she was drunk. "You live here. How do you get in here? Where's your key?" She said, "I've never had a key." They said, "Well, how do you get in here?" And she had at one time, about 6 months prior to that, broken a window to get into my house. They said, "Well, go ahead and kick the window in." And again, she's drunk. They're sober. They encouraged her to break the window. As soon as they broke the window, I was inside, and I'm a disabled Vietnam vet. I have a weapons permit, and I said loud and clear, "The first MF that comes through that window is going to get shot." And now, remember, they broke into my yard. I didn't, a man's house is his castle. I wasn't sure about the law, but today I know, after going through this whole thing, that the cops had no right to number one, bring her from her home to mine, where she was safe at, to bring her to my home. They broke laws doing that. And for breaking into my house, the cops didn't need to be there. And I said some derogatory things to them. I did swear at the cops that evening.
Well, I mean, as you would, right?
Yeah, I told them, I asked them, did they have a warrant? No, they didn't have a warrant. They insisted on staying there. By the next half an hour or so.
Just to be clear, they're still outside in the back porch at this point? They have not come through the window?
They're not coming through the window.
Okay.
But they know that I'm a disabled vet. The cops in that town know that I have a lot of weapons. They see me all the time. They know who I am.
Yep.
And not that I'm not a troublemaker or anything. By the way, if you look on your computer, I don't have a computer. I'm 64, never had a computer. There's a computer site, VeluciaExposed.com. And the guy who runs that website, he came to all my court hearings and my court dates. And if you look it up by my name on there, it's all there. There's video of the cops. Anyway, I'm getting back to where I was at.
Yeah. How long ago? How long ago did this occur, Michael? What year?
This is about 6 years ago.
Okay. 6. Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
and it was in October.
All right, so the cops are outside. They're in your back porch. They've broken the window. You've managed to tell them, don't come through or else. You know that at this point that you're dealing with cops, right?
At that point, I knew, and I called 911, and I said, hey, I got cops in my backyard. They said, we've got somebody coming on the way. They had already rousted my neighbors by that time, and I was the captain of the neighborhood watch, so that's how I knew the cops. And they knew me.
Yep.
I was the president of that my neighborhood.
Okay.
They went to my neighbors and they told them, get out of the house. By this time it's 1 o'clock in the morning. They got my neighbors all out of their houses in that corner at the edge of the street. My daughter came from out of town, and she came down there, and they wouldn't let her come up to my house. The cops. I'm on some medications, and I hadn't taken my meds at that time, but I walked past the window that they'd broken. They had a spotlight shining in, and a cop shot me in my back.
Through the window?
And through the broken window. They encouraged my friend to break the window. She kicked the window, and that's when I said, first one in, I'm going to shoot him.
Yep.
They once he shot me in the back, I staggered to the front. I got myself up off, blood all over my kitchen where they shot me. And I went outside. They took me into custody, took me to the hospital where they just put some bandages on my back, just little 1-inch square bandages, and taped them over.
Yep.
Took me to the police department where they interrogated me. And while they were interrogating me, there's a pool of blood underneath me.
Oh my God.
They said, take him back to the hospital. They took me back to the hospital in the back of a squad car, and where they sutured me up 2 holes, 1 hole in and 1 hole out, where they shot me. And brought me back to this cop shop, interrogating me. And I told them just the truth. She was drunk. I didn't want her around. I took her to her house.
What was their excuse for shooting you? Did they claim that you were a threat to them in some way, that you were armed? What was their excuse?
Well, they know that I was armed.
Mm-hmm.
I had a nice collection of weapons. Again, I'm a Vietnam vet. I was in my early 60s at the time. So I had, matter of fact, one of the cops
I want to know if you got any justice. Can we hold on to him, Captain?
Yeah, can you hold on, Michael?
Yeah, can you hold through the news?
I'll be here.
All right, we appreciate it, Michael.
God. What's your last name, by the way? I don't know if you still have him on, but
I'm sorry, Michael.
Morrison. I'm here.
Michael Morrison.
My name is Michael Morrison.
Stand by. I want to get the rest of this story. I want to find out if you got any kind of justice from this.
More from Michael coming up.
You will understand the true intent of the Founding Fathers when they wrote the Constitution if you attend this free webinar. Chris Ann Hall, president of Liberty First University, doesn't simply regurgitate what some professor or expert has said about the Constitution. She relays the thoughts and opinions of those who wrote the documents. Her straightforward, passionate, easy-to-understand style lets anyone grasp the principles of liberty. Join us at lfu.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at lfu.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at marketfreetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. Marketfreetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, marketfreetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's Discord, www.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,622, silver at $18.41, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,611. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, longtime Donald Trump ally Roger Stone was sentenced Thursday afternoon to 40 months in prison. News to Share was there and captured video of Stone entering and exiting the courthouse, as well as his supporters and protesters. A few members of the right-wing group, the Proud Boys, of which Stone is an honorary member, showed up at court to support him. Claude Taylor, a prominent anti-Trump activist, inflated a giant rat in front of the courthouse. As press awaited the recently sentenced Stone to exit the courthouse, right-wing journalist Owen Schroyer began yelling at journalists. Stone exited the courthouse and departed in a black SUV with a grin, but without making any statement. Late last year, Stone was convicted of 1 count of obstructing a proceeding, 5 counts of making false statements to Congress, and 1 count of witness tampering in the Mueller probe. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. A new study published in the prestigious medical journal, The Lancet, has calculated that a switch to a Medicare for All healthcare system would save the United States over 68,000 lives and over $450 billion each year. The report's team, headed by Dr. Allison P. Galvani of Yale University, concluded that the shift to single-payer healthcare would provide the greatest relief to lower-income households and reduce overall health spending by 13%. MintPress News reports that Improving the Prognosis of Healthcare in the USA, the title of the report, makes a number of basic calculations based on existing figures that show the difference in cost between private healthcare and the Medicare system in place for those age 65 or over. It finds that there are huge cost savings that can be made by switching to socialized healthcare. A federal judge dismissed the claims of Houston residents seeking to hold the government liable for flooding their homes with Hurricane Harvey stormwater released from 2 dams, finding there is no constitutional right to perfect flood control. Activist Post reports U.S. Court of Federal Claims Judge Lauren Smith's order on Tuesday came the same day the WeatherWise magazine published a study naming Hurricane Harvey the most extreme storm of the 2010s, responsible for $108 billion in property damage and 82 deaths. Harvey stalled over the Houston area for 4 days in August 2017, swamping neighborhoods and freeways and forcing people to evacuate in chest-deep water as first responders and Good Samaritans rescued others in boats, and Coast Guard crews threw down rope ladders from helicopters for those who had climbed onto their roofs to escape the rising water. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at SNOSnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
California is reeling from Super Rainbow Percival, which left a trail of devastation along the West Coast. A luminous band of destruction touched down in Santa Barbara. Percival set a record as the most powerful rainbow in U.S. history, with at least 30 confirmed fatalities and damage estimates in the billions. The vividly saturated colors seared through homes and roads, charring everything in its path. Those exposed to the rainbow's fury say they're lucky to be alive.
The sky was completely blue. All of a sudden, it's filled with brilliant hues of red and indigo.
All I can say is when I was a kid, rainbows didn't cut people in half.
Meteorologists say that Percival is just the latest in a pattern of increasingly dangerous rainbows, and that they're only growing stronger as global temperatures rise. Percival also comes on the heels of some extreme weather phenomena overseas. Authorities in the Philippines are still searching for thousands in the aftermath of mega sunset Wilma.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Yes, this is Free Talk Live. You are in the right place for the live Saturday night edition of our call-in show. Our telephone number here, of course, is toll-free, 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom, a topic that is near and dear to my heart anyway. And tonight I am your host, the Reverend Captain Kickass, and I'm joined by...
And I'm Ian.
We've been talking to a caller who was shot in the back by police at around about 2 a.m., 6 or 7, maybe 8 years ago. And we were getting, bits of the story from him, and we asked him to hold over.
I did pull up the Volusia Exposed website, and they do have a very detailed piece, multiple pieces about this just debacle, horrifying situation.
Yeah, Michael, during the break, and you're with us again on the air live, during the break we were just looking up the website you pointed us to, and from my cursory observation, sir, you have been railroaded. Can you tell us more?
No doubt about that.
Yeah, so let me see if I can recap real fast for our listeners. There was it was Bike Week. You're there in the Daytona Beach, area, and you had a young lady with you. You're in your 60s now. At the time, how old were you at the time? Just curious.
Whatever the date is, that many less. I'm 64 now.
64 now. Okay. So this was several years ago. You had this woman was very drunk. You had taken her to her home, had dropped her off. She stumbled after she got off of your motorcycle with you. Police observed that happen. They interpreted it as some sort of a domestic abuse. They then took her to your home. They then asked her if she lived there. She was drunk, so she indicated that she did live there. Even though she didn't, she'd maybe visited you there at previous occasions. And she had admitted that she had at one point broken a back window in order to get into the home, claiming that it had been her home. They then had her break the window again. You were home at the time and concerned that you were being, having some marauders come into your home. You said, anybody comes through that window, I'm going to shoot. And at that point, at some point after that, the police then shot you in the back.
You've got it pretty much exactly right.
They then arrested you, took you to the hospital, did a terrible job of stitching up your wounds, had to take you back to the hospital, and I think that's where you left the story.
Yeah, I think you were being interrogated about stuff.
Yeah. Actually, the first time I went to the hospital, they did not stitch me. They just put gauze bandage over the hole with medical tape over the 2 holes in my back.
Wow.
And then I was interrogated. There was a pool of blood under me where I was bleeding. Then they took me back and they stitched it up.
Okay, wait.
And came back and interrogated me some more.
I just have a question, Michael. So I'm looking at, the photos that are on VolusiaExposed.com, and you said holes in your back. Did you just get shot one time or twice?
Yeah, one time the bullet went in and out.
Entry
okay.
and exit.
Okay, I got you. Yeah,
you can look at the photo
went in
of
on
the
an angle. Okay.
Yeah, you can look at the photo here, and I think you lucked out. It looks like because it kind of went in on like the back left side of your back and kind of went out the back left or the left side of your rib cage. It looks like so it kind of cut through the very back edge of your body. It doesn't appear that it pierced your lung, or I mean, did it like pierce anything pretty serious? I mean, obviously it's bad when you get shot, but but it doesn't look like as bad as it could have been.
It's a time when I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, and I'm a Christian. It's a time where if it happened to you, you might do what I did. I was so thankful. I'm thinking God must have a reason to keep me around, because if I'd have been just standing at a different angle, that bullet could have went right through my heart.
Right.
You see, if you, I don't know, there was a picture. I've never seen the website, but I just know it's there.
It's there.
But
it's definitely at heart level. I mean, it's right, pretty close. So what's next? You're being questioned by the police. You're under arrest. What did they charge you with? Was it domestic violence?
They were charging me with domestic violence, and there was 2 cops in my backyard that morning, and it was about 1:30 when they actually shot me. There was 2 cops in my backyard. One from the town where she lives.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that brought her into the town I live in. She lives in Daytona. I live in Holly Hill.
Okay.
Excuse me. They brought her the Holly Hill cop is the one that actually pulled the trigger on me, and I've known after that some of my friends who work in the city of Holly Hill say they called that guy Barney Fife because he only had 1 bullet in his gun. I don't know if you know who Barney Fife is.
Yeah, I do.
And he only let him carry 1 bullet.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was pretty traumatic for me. And they, after they interrogated me the second time, I told them, they said, tell us what happened. And I told them what happened because I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
The wrongdoers were the cops. They took me to the jail, where I sat for about 2 weeks till I got a court hearing where I could get a bond hearing. I got a bond, so I bonded out of jail, and I don't think I was on no bond before that.
Okay.
But I got out of jail, and I was put on pre-trial intervention again, where they made me come in once a week and take a piss test and.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke cigarettes. I'm a Christian, and I live a pretty clean life. But I'm big and intimidating looking. I'm 6'2" and 250 pounds now.
Right. Well, right, and
up to 300 pounds.
And the state's not happy unless they make the monkey dance. So you're doing the monkey dance for the state. So
they gave me an attorney. They assigned me an attorney, and I had probably more than a dozen court-appointed attorneys because they were all telling me, "Look, you've got to plead guilty to something." I had to plead guilty to anything, a misdemeanor. They told me, "You sign this paper and plead guilty. We'll let you out of jail. We're going to drop everything after that." They just wanted me to be. I said, "Look, accuse me of being stupid, and I'll plead guilty to that. But I'm not pleading guilty to nothing I didn't do."
Good for you, man, because I want to just inject here that this is so common that this is the way the state plays their little game, is they hit you with as many charges as they possibly can. The state attorneys, these defense attorneys, these public defenders, they're glorified plea deal takers, and that's what you were presented with, was attorney after attorney that was trying to get you to take a plea deal. They don't want to have to go to trial. The prosecutors don't want to have to go to trial. The defense attorneys don't want to have to go to trial. So if they can get everybody to take a plea, then they don't have to actually do any work. Then they just negotiate the plea deal. The judge approves or not, and usually they'll approve it because they just want to move people through the system, get some sort of fine money out of people, lock them down with probation and the various different conditions, which of course are designed to be easy to violate, so they get you right back into the system. So did you stand firm on that, and then what happened?
You were so right about every word you just said.
Yeah.
Every bit of that, I found it to be true in my case. And again, I wasn't going to plead guilty to anything I didn't do. Every time they gave me a new attorney, a public defender guy, they wouldn't do depositions. I said, do these depositions. Depose this one and that one. They would tell you that she was drunk all night long or whatever. They wouldn't do any deposition for me. Finally, this guy with the Volusia Exposed, John Bandor, I realized that he was on videotaping all this was going on, and he put me in touch with somebody who was an attorney. It cost me over $60,000 to get an attorney.
Yep.
After having more than a dozen public defenders. I got one myself, and he brought in some expert witnesses that said cops should have never brought her to my town. The cops should have waited till the morning and catch me driving off and pull me over like it was a traffic ticket. Then ask me about it. The cops should have never come on my property. They should have never knocked on my door.
I want more of this. More.
Michael, can you stay with us for one more segment?
Sure.
All right. Please hold the line. I want to point out to our listeners that public defender is a misnomer. They're not defending you, the public, from them. They're defending themselves from you, the public. 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. More from Michael.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Don't miss this year's LibertyCon with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO John Mackey, Congressman Justin Amash, and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith. Attend 2 spectacular debates. Is government necessary, and does capitalism require government intervention? Network with over 70 pro-liberty organizations. This and a whole lot more. April the 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. Visit LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on LibertyCon.com. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org. I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge Wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Yes, it's the live Saturday night edition of Free Talk Live, the only freedom-oriented live call-in talk radio show that I'm aware of, at least in the US of A or thereabouts. We are also broadcast on some satellite bits and online, of course. But it is Free Talk Live, and I am your host, the Reverend Captain Kickass, and I'm joined by...
I'm Ian Freeman.
And we kicked off this evening talking about an article where a study shows that police chases over minor crimes end up with thousands of innocent bystanders dead. And we've been talking to a man, Michael Morrison, out of Daytona Beach, Florida, who has been shot by a cop. And he's been giving us the details, and we'll get into more of that in just a minute. But first, I wanted to give you a Liberty update from LibertyCon. Don't miss these two very special debates. First, is government necessary? This debate will feature David Friedman, Milton Sun, and Timothy Sandefur. David will be arguing that government isn't necessary, while Timothy will be arguing that government is necessary. Second, does capitalism require government intervention? In this debate, Gene Epstein, the economics editor for Barron's, will debate Stephen Pearlstein of The Washington Post. Epstein will argue against intervention, and Pearlstein will argue in favor of it. Also, John Mackey, Whole Foods CEO, will speak on conscious capitalism. Be a part of LibertyCon. LibertyCon is a unique Liberty convention April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. for people who want to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations for career advancement, business, or internship opportunities. Visit libertycon.com for more details on our incredible list of speakers, events, and even student discounts. That's libertycon.com. Use code FTL for a $10 discount. And so we've been talking with Michael Morrison, and you can find out a whole bunch of stuff. His saga has been documented on a website called Volusia Exposed.com. That's VOLUSIA exposed.com.
It's a Florida county.
It's a Florida county, yeah. So for our listeners out there, if you want to read up on more details. So we've been, sort of recapping the story with Michael, talking about what happened. And Ian had a very good question. And we were talking about, hypothetically, like, let's just say a guy was guilty of whatever the cops said you had done, Michael.
A domestic abuse.
A domestic abuse,
Threw a girl off a bike or something.
Even if you were, guilty of whatever they accused you of, their behavior is not excusable, even if you were guilty.
Shooting him in the back, number one. Two, going to his house at 2 a.m. to deal with that situation when the two of them had been separated at that point. They could have just picked him up later. They could have just gone in the morning or knocked on his door later the next day or something.
And let's just say, they did suspect Michael of being a violent person. Why would you bring her to
put her in more danger,
more violence if that's what they actually thought?
Crazy situation. So they had offered you a plea deal, multiple plea deals. They really, really, really wanted you to take a plea. And the story over at Volusia Exposed says that they were offering you some pretty sweet deals, like that basically you wouldn't have to do any kind of time. You would just get this conviction on your record. Just go ahead, take the plea, and it'll all be over with. But you didn't, Michael.
You're right. And the fact is, if I were guilty, those would have been sweet deals. but I didn't do what they said I did, so it was a shitty deal.
Oh my God, we can't have you saying that. We got to hit the dump button.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you to keep him though, because I want to finish the story.
Yep. I don't mean it. It's a slang term that I use. I ride a bike.
Yeah. Just keep in mind we're on the radio. We can't have you say something that you can't say on the radio again. So that's your only chance you're going to get there. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a crappy deal. A very crappy deal.
It's a very, very crappy deal.
Okay. You use your word. I still believe it's my word.
I understand. I would understand if we weren't on the radio, but sorry. Okay. So without using that word or any other words like it, go ahead and tell the rest of the story.
I ended up spending 4 years on this pretrial intervention, at which time 1 week before 4 years was up, they contacted my attorney and said, we don't have enough information to pursue this case, so we're going to drop the charges.
All right. But by that time, you'd spent $60,000?
Yeah, a little over $60,000. My attorney rang it all up. We had to hire people to come in and testify that the cops committed felony after felony after felony just to get there before they shot me.
There was no punishment for the police, though, right? They never got brought up on any kind of charges. They never got fired. I'm just guessing, right? No punishment.
The guy that actually shot me was on the Holly Hill Police Department, and he quit and went to be a mall cop after this. And I think they kind of told him either you're going to quit or we're going to fire you over it, and then they'd have to pursue it. So he quit, and he went to be a mall cop. The other cop from the town where she lived, Daytona, he got a raise. And
of course.
In fact,
oh my God!
In fact, the guy on Volusia Exposed, John Vandor, he told me that the cop that was there with the one that shot me, the other cop, he had been brought up on domestic violence his own self in the police department.
Surprise! Surprise! Another cop beating his wife.
Exactly, and he got raised. So the cops never, the state's attorney never, not one person ever said, "Hey, we're sorry, we dragged you through this."
Nope.
They all knew that I wasn't guilty. Every one of them knew that I wasn't guilty. You can come to my town and talk to cops right now about the case, and they'll tell you, "Yeah, we know he got run through the ringer."
So did you?
He went to jail.
I'm sorry, Michael. Did you, in effect, did you win the case? Are you still in court?
They dropped the charges.
They dropped the charges completely?
They dropped the charges
after 4 years.
Yeah, after almost 4 years. A week shy of 4 years. But that was their, they had to do something before that time, or the time to charge me expired.
They got like a statute of limitations on it.
They didn't cut a check. There's no justice for you in this case.
I hired a lawyer. I hired a lawyer, and the lawyer for years, he told me, I'm working on it. Then I find he got disbarred because he was a womanizer himself, and he wasn't following his motions. So me and probably a dozen more people lost our cases that he was handling for us.
Balls.
And at this point, it's all over. But the cops in my town, Holly Hill, know that I wasn't guilty of that. I don't have any problem with the cops myself. I know there's a few bad apples in the basket there, but I don't have any. I'm a patriot. I like cops.
Well, they say a few bad apples spoils the bunch. Did you ever get an apology from the lady, at least?
Yeah, we got back together.
Right, glad to hear that.
While they had this whole thing going in the domestic violence stuff, while I was in jail for the first 2 weeks, she apparently wrote a letter to the judge and said, "Hey, they got it all wrong."
Oh, man, they don't care. They don't care. Thanks for the call, man. Thanks for sharing that story.
Thank you so much, Michael. 855-450-FREE like freedom. Have you been shot by a cop? Give us a call. Let us know. 855-450-FREE. More coming up.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dinovite.com. With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dinovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dinovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dinovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Because we are smothering in spam, please do not reply to all when you can instead reply. I was recently among over 100 invited to a corporate reunion. It's always a warm affair, and that's the problem. Enthusiasm for our upcoming get-together caused many recipients to RSVP the organizer with a cheery reply to all. I can't wait. Then others piled on with a reply to all to that. Then the "I'm out of my office now" autoresponders joined in. So I replied to all, asking that we all reply only to the organizer. Hey, at least I tried. One invitee, apparently retired, shot back, "Point taken, but I really like seeing the responses since they're so positive." Smiley face. This better be an open bar. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The live Saturday night edition of Free Talk Live. Coming at you from the LRN.FM studios in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. I am your host tonight, the Reverend Captain Kickass, and I'm joined by...
And my name's Ian.
Very good. Oh. I'm glad you remembered your name because sometimes I forget.
Okay. You forget my name or your name?
Yes. All of the above. We've had some really interesting talk this evening.
Yeah. Wow.
We've had the, what do you call it? Article from the Free Thought Project talking about folks who, innocent folks who die as a result of police chasing.
Yes.
And in almost no instance statistically.
2,000 in the last 4 years.
Yeah, in almost no instance statistically is it worth the chase.
I wouldn't say it is. Although,
that
is one of the questions we can ask our listeners. We got distracted by a really interesting story about a guy who was chased down by the police into his home and shot
in the back
for no reason whatsoever, besides the fact that the police think they can get away with things like that.
Nothing like getting shot in the back by the police,
Yeah,
right, to really brighten your day.
And usually can, but we should ask the question of our listeners regarding these police chases. Is in what circumstances do you think it's okay? Should the police be able to just go ahead and do a high-speed chase for any reason whatsoever? Oh, well, that guy didn't pull over for us, or that guy is wanted for a bag of marijuana, or whatever. He threw a girl off a bicycle, or whatever.
Or, oh my gosh, I'll be late to the donut shop. They open in 5 minutes. I've seen many a police cruiser sort of take advantage of their authority.
I'm trying to think of a situation. I think that maybe I could, if we're going to have government police, and that's a whole other question, is should we even have a monopoly, one-size-fits-all police force?
Right.
How could we do it without a monopoly? But that's another question. If you're going to have this monopoly police, under what circumstances should it be acceptable for them to go barreling through the streets at breakneck speeds, possibly killing
lights
innocent
flashing,
bystanders?
Huge sirens.
Under what circumstances is that okay? And there probably are some where you could say, okay, some maniac just murdered, a church full of people.
Yep.
Okay, I can see the reason there.
Yep.
But unless you've got somebody who's an immediate threat to the lives of other people and they've threatened to kill people or whatever, I just don't think that in most circumstances you really need to be going at a high-speed chase. Because if you're not chasing the person at a high speed, odds are they're not going to need to go at a high speed.
Well, and with the growth of Skynet, I mean, all of the network objects that are connected to each other that police and law enforcement and the FBI and the CIA and basically all forms of
various
government,
cameras and such.
Yeah, cameras,
phones.
radios, phone, all that stuff.
Yeah, dude's got a cell phone on him. You know where he is at all times.
You can be tracked virtually almost no matter where you are at this point. So, it really raises some questions, but we'll talk more about that in just a minute. I wanted to tell you about the next generation wallet coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to spend, earn, store, and exchange digital money in seconds. Divvy says you'll be able to send money around the globe in only a swipe and instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. There's no need to wait, though, as Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with their multi-tiered masternodes, allowing anyone to earn by supporting the Divvy network. When the new Divvy wallet launches because of Divvy's relationship with Western Union, Divvy will be in 200 countries, including the United States. You can learn more at divvyproject.org, D-I-V-I project.org. So, Skynet, right? And I'm calling it that because that was what everybody was scared of when the Terminator first movie came out in whatever year that was, 1982 or something. I'm dating myself here. But, I mean, it really has kind of come to pass outside of the fact that it's not sentient, right? But, like, all of the Big Brother, all of the Big Brother type stuff that everybody was afraid of that Orwell wrote about in 1984. It's all here. It's all here. Congratulations. You've lived to see it happen.
And you're going to live to see it get worse.
Yeah. We're going to talk more about these types of things, but first, let's go to your calls and your thoughts. We have Ralph calling from Maine. Ralph, you are on Free Talk Live.
Hi. As you probably are aware, we have a citizens referendum here in Maine that we're voting on March 3rd.
Nope, wasn't aware. What is it?
Well, they took away our objections to vaccines on religious and philosophical grounds. So we raised about 80,000 signatures to fight that, and we're going to be voting on it March 3rd. But
so hold on, just to clarify, they took away your religious objection, meaning that what, a child has to be vaccinated and there's no way to get out of it?
They won't let them go to school, daycare, even college, and you have to have the full amount of vaccines.
Why would you want them to go to school anyway? I mean, government school is just a terrible place where they indoctrinate the youth with pro-government messaging.
But how will the children socialize? I'm just kidding.
Join
Just
a club.
Yeah. No, good point. But still, it's like, what's next? Adults being mandated and we can't go out of our homes, or
Well,
but,
wait a second, Ralph. I have a question. You said that they took away your religious objection. Did they do that by way of voting as well?
The legislature took it away.
So what is the proposal exactly? What is the voting? What are the phrases that you're going to be voting on? What are they saying? What's the pitch?
Well, vote yes means that we're going to put back the if you have a religious or a philosophical objection to vaccines, then you don't have to take it, and then they can't keep you out of schools or wherever. If you vote no, then you're against the citizens' referendum, and you want to keep the law that was written last year.
Well, here's a better idea. Why don't the people who are against vaccines just stop paying property taxes?
Yeah, well, trying to organize everybody to do that, and people have bills and stuff. But
well, if you don't pay property taxes, you can pay more of your bills.
I just got back from vacation with my kids. I have 2 young kids that I raise, and all of a sudden there's all these no signs. The ones that want to do away with the objections, and I mean a lot of them, like 4 times what they had before I left on Monday. And I find out that the vaccine trade, the lobbying organization, contributed almost $500,000 in Maine to fight that. And my objections is like with 50% of children having developmental disabilities, and they say even that 1 in 28 boys and 1 in 35 girls have some stage of autism. I mean, why won't they look at, like, how could this be right to put DNA from monkeys and pigs and cows, caterpillars and mice and dogs into vaccines? And then they put aborted male and female baby fetus DNA into our kids.
Yeah.
It's no wonder that 5- and 6-year-old boys want to dress up, And
I don't think that has anything to do with it.
I have a problem with the fact that this type of an issue, particularly politically, boils down to 2 things that are marketed to you: yes or no. There's never a sign that says choice. Right? Or individual freedom, right? It's always, yes, you want this, or no, you don't want this.
Well, in this
and
case,
if you're not on one side or the other side, then you're a heathen, or whatever.
It sounds like in this case, voting in favor would give people the choice of whether or not they wanted to have the vaccines. It could still go to government school. I understand the frustrations, and thank you, Ralph, for calling in here tonight.
Can I just say one more thing?
Probably not, but quickly.
It sounded like, you really, or one of you really questioned that putting male or say female DNA into male
I
bodies
question vaccines for sure.
Anything.
Thanks for the call tonight.
Appreciate it.
855-450 free. Yep. Give us your calls and your thoughts. What do you think of vaccines? Free Talk Live, 855-450 free.
Join me, George Norrie, in Indian Wells, California, for the 8th Annual Contact in the Desert UFO Conference, May 29th to June 1st. Contact in the Desert is an epic weekend of adventure filled with exciting explorations into UFOs, ancient alien civilizations, crop circles, forbidden archaeology, disclosure, leading-edge science, and the newest evidence of ongoing contact, sightings, and leading-edge science. This amazing weekend offers lectures and workshops, exciting panels, and a luncheon that I'm hosting. Contact in the Desert also features leading experts including Linda Moulton Howe, Paul Hellyer, Stephen Greer, Emery Smith, Russell Targ, Doc Wallach, Leslie Kane, and many important researchers and scientists from all over the world. With the breaking articles in the New York Times and acknowledged naval sightings, Contact in the Desert is your place for inside information. Join us at contactinthedesert.com to get your tickets today. It's time to make contact. That's contactinthedesert.com. Contactinthedesert.com.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNLife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNLife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637.
Free Talk Live.
You know, you got to give those guys credit, though. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, they've established this for themselves. And who are the Hispanic leaders? Who are the Chinese leaders? It's a brilliant marketing plan on their part to get them radio interviews and all kinds of appearances and sell books for them. But otherwise, that's really all it is for them.
Right, and then when you call them out, exactly what you said. If you are a black person, you are supposed to get upset when they tell you to get upset. Me and a lot of other people who are black, we've grown up. I'm 55 going on 56. I don't see color. I see people. I see behavior. I see morals. I see values. I don't see the color of a person's skin. That does not dictate how I should interact with that person. Their behavior, their morals and values dictate how I interact with them.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Yes, this is Free Talk Live, the live call-in radio talk show where you can take control of the airways. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. I am your host tonight, the Reverend Dr. Captain Kickass, and I'm joined by...
It's Ian.
And we were talking a bit with our previous caller about a vaccine situation where apparently Maine has taken away the religious exemption. And we'll talk more about that in just a minute.
Sure, but are you 100% sure you're going to have a great retirement, or do you have some doubt? Tom Young is the author and founder of the CFO Project. He can show you how to be debt-free in 9 years or less, including your mortgage, without spending a single dollar more. With the current state of the federal debt at $23 trillion and the unfunded liabilities at $127 trillion, you can't wait to take control of your money. Don't let your retirement savings be used to bail out the government. Instead of building a plan, Tom can show you how to create strategies now to save money without penalties and as little government involvement as possible. His new book, The Family Money Farm, The CFO Project, will show you exactly how to build wealth and eliminate debt at the same time. Get your free copy now at cfo-project.com. Invest in yourself and your family today. Get your free copy of The Family Money Farm, The CFO Project at cfo-project.com.
So I wanted to say this about vaccines. And to anybody out there who's listening who has an opinion one way or the other on vaccines, my opinion is simply this. If you, as a human being, would like to receive vaccines, feel free to go ahead and do so.
It's your body.
It's your body, your choice.
Put whatever you want into it.
If you have done some research and sought out some medical advice, or maybe you didn't. Maybe, Jim Bob next door has said, hey, I got these vaccines and I haven't had the flu in years, or whatever it is, right? Okay, far out, solid, and right on. You go ahead and you go get those vaccines, right? If you want them for your children, okay, you are ostensibly the legal guardian.
See, that's where things get a little sticky, right? Because, they're your children, but aren't they also their own people? Aren't they also...
Well, we know that minorities are minorities. We know that children, that's people under the age of 18 years of age in the United States, are the last minority group to get any recognition of rights. They still really have none,
Well,
basically.
I understand that the term children you used there was the legal definition. But it's not the actual definition of child. A child is someone who has not reached puberty. And people at age 8, 17, 16, 15, 14, and a couple of years below that have absolutely reached puberty. And they are certainly people who can make decisions for themselves.
Right.
But
I just wanted to finish what I was trying to say, which is you completely have the right to get vaccines. If your child isn't old enough to make a decision or understand what's happening to them, I guess it's okay if you decide for them. I'm a little on the fence. But
can
overall,
you also decide to cut off their genitals?
You can. It happens all the time.
It does. Or mutilate. I should say mutilate the genitals.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that you certainly do not have the right to force anybody else, specifically the rest of the population of any geographic area, much less the planet, to also decide what you feel is right for you. You do not have that right.
No, I agree. I completely agree with you there, and that's the trend that we're seeing, and that's the concern that the caller had, was that they're moving in this direction of not quite forcing, but creating certain disincentives and incentives.
Right? From the sounds of it.
Well, what he was saying was that in Maine, that they would make it so that you can no longer send your kids to a government school if you didn't get the vaccines that they're supposed to get. So that's not forcing, but it's a severe
But then don't they also
disincentive.
enforce truancy laws?
Well, that is a good question. Now, there are alternatives to government schools. You could, for instance, homeschool. You could unschool the child. I don't know if the rules also apply to private schools. I imagine private schools are free to set their own rules on that sort of thing, meaning that if you are running a private school, you can decide, do you want to allow vaccinated kids or non-vaccinated, so on and so forth.
I believe private schools still have to follow state mandates, and that is to say they have to teach X amount it's the same thing with homeschool, right? You have to teach X amount of subject matter and curriculum. It does depend on the state a bit, but there are still things that the states say, okay, you're going to homeschool, but these are the things you must cover.
Not all states.
Okay.
And in fact, I think that in New Hampshire's case, we're two single guys talking about raising kids in school and stuff like that. So I'm sort of trying to remember what Mark Edge, who's
is not lost on this.
One of our co-hosts, has said about this. He's got a kid. They did homeschool Jack, his son, for a number of years, unschool/homeschool.
And I'm all for that kind of thing. Personally, my opinion, if I were to have kids, I would homeschool. I would do whatever it took to not put my child in government schools.
If I recall correctly, in New Hampshire, the rules are that parents have to kind of inform the state that they have a curriculum, but that it doesn't have to be detailed or something like that. It doesn't have to meet any kind of standards or anything like that. And if they don't even know you've got a kid, then you don't have to tell them jack squat. So usually the only reason why they would know you have a kid is if you had them in the government school system first, then pulled them out of the government school system.
I used to follow a group that was the Freeborn or something like that. These are folks who have children that don't get a birth certificate.
Like Jay Noon, our co-host on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
He does not have a social security number.
Right,
He doesn't have a driver's license.
Exactly. And there are these groups that exist for our listeners who don't know.
I love that
stuff. There
stuff.
are groups who exist. I believe they refer to themselves as Freeborn.
Well, this is another thing about what kind of decisions should parents be making for their children. Obviously, you have a responsibility, if you have a child, to take care of them. But should you be saddling them with things that they may not actually value later on? I mentioned genital mutilation. That's obviously a controversial one, but something that maybe less people consider is signing their child up for a Social Security number.
Yep.
Maybe your son or daughter would have preferred to have been outside of that system. And remember, these are all things they can do to themselves later. If they want to mutilate their own genitals, they can do that. And if they want to get a Social Security number later, they can do that.
Yep.
So I'm more on the side of let your children grow up and make their own decisions about these things rather than making decisions for them, which they may not appreciate down the line, in retrospect. And I think that vaccinations is a tough one on that case because, whether or not their genitals get mutilated is probably not going to have a huge effect on whether they come down with something, right? Like the odds are they're not going to get an infection in their genitals if they don't mutilate them, and that's one of the big fears about that. But in the case of vaccinations, there is the concern, you don't want your kid to get the mumps, right, or whatever it is they're vaccinating for. Of course, when we were growing up, Captain, and we're not too far off in age, they had far fewer vaccinations than they do today.
Mumps, measles, rubella, chickenpox.
I think that was about it, right?
I don't even think they had the chickenpox vaccine because I remember.
I don't think they did. I got it.
Yeah, I remember getting
you
chickenpox.
get it. You live through it, and then you don't get it again.
And it was one of those things where they took me somewhere where other kids had chickenpox and had me play with them, so I would get it. Yeah, because they were like, well, let's get it out of the way. It's going around now.
Might as well get it. So there were far fewer vaccines then than there are today. And it's one thing if you're getting a few of these things. It's another thing if you're getting a whole series of these things. I mean, I have to say the anti-vaxxers.
Oh, and the polio vaccine was another one.
Yeah, I mean, the anti-vaxxers have a lot of really interesting things to say. I don't know
there are some really, if you've ever read the ingredients list of some of these vaccines,
stuff,
you're like, yeah, why is that in there?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know we make all sorts of drugs that treat diseases and medical ailments from all sorts of weird stuff, like the cartilage of a blowfish or something. I don't, I'm speaking about things I don't know about, but I've read ingredients of, chemicals that are made by Big Pharma that treat things like, seizures, right? Grand mal epilepsy. Mm-hmm. And where that stuff comes from, you'd be surprised where some of that stuff comes from. So, who am I to say that, okay, yeah, that list of ingredients sure looks bizarre, but I'm not a scientist. I can't tell you what the purpose of each of those ingredients may or may not be.
I don't think the scientists agree on these things, and that's the whole thing with science, right, is there's never a real answer that's not being challenged constantly by other scientists.
But again, you as an individual or a parent or whatever should be able to go and look up the different types of vaccines. You should be able to evaluate their ingredient list. You should be able to talk to experts in the field if you want to, through your, arguably your health insurance company or your doctor. Find out, why are these ingredients in there? What does that do? What do the studies show? And make an informed decision. Now, perhaps you like one, set of vaccines made by, one manufacturer, and you're like, okay, these are legit, and I'm going to get these. You currently don't have that. There's a very few sets of manufacturers, and you really don't get any choice. It's just like, well, yep, you got to get them. Here they are. Stab, stab. And now you've got them.
Or you should be free to just say, you know what, we're going to throw caution to the wind and not get these vaccines for our kids at all.
Right.
See what happens. If they want them later, they can get them later.
855 450 free like freedom. That's 855 450 3733. I don't remember the last time I had a vaccination of any kind.
I don't get the flu vaccine. I'm not interested in that crap.
Yeah, they give it away for free at the Walgreens, so I question that.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at marketfreetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. Marketfreetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station, but if you can service a national audience, contact me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,622, silver at $18.41, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,611. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, longtime Donald Trump ally Roger Stone was sentenced Thursday afternoon to 40 months in prison. News to Share was there and captured video of Stone entering and exiting the courthouse, as well as his supporters and protesters. A few members of the right-wing group, the Proud Boys, of which Stone is an honorary member, showed up at court to support him. Claude Taylor, a prominent anti-Trump activist, inflated a giant rat in front of the courthouse. As press awaited the recently sentenced Stone to exit the courthouse, right-wing journalist Owen Schroyer began yelling at journalists. Stone exited the courthouse and departed in a black SUV with a grin, but without making any statement. Late last year, Stone was convicted of 1 count of obstructing a proceeding, 5 counts of making false statements to Congress, and 1 count of witness tampering in the Mueller probe. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. A new study published in the prestigious medical journal, The Lancet, has calculated that a switch to a Medicare for All healthcare system would save the United States over 68,000 lives and over $450 billion each year. The report's team, headed by Dr. Allison P. Galvani of Yale University, concluded that the shift to single-payer healthcare would provide the greatest relief to lower-income households and reduce overall health spending by 13%. MintPress News reports that Improving the Prognosis of Healthcare in the USA, the title of the report, makes a number of basic calculations based on existing figures that show the difference in cost between private healthcare and the Medicare system in place for those age 65 or over. It finds that there are huge cost savings that can be made by switching to socialized healthcare. A federal judge dismissed the claims of Houston residents seeking to hold the government liable for flooding their homes with Hurricane Harvey stormwater released from 2 dams, finding there is no constitutional right to perfect flood control. Activist Post reports U.S. Court of Federal Claims Judge Lauren Smith's order on Tuesday came the same day the WeatherWise magazine published a study naming Hurricane Harvey the most extreme storm of the 2010s, responsible for $108 billion in property damage and 82 deaths. Harvey stalled over the Houston area for 4 days in August 2017, swamping neighborhoods and freeways and forcing people to evacuate in chest-deep water as first responders and Good Samaritans rescued others in boats, and Coast Guard crews threw down rope ladders from helicopters for those who had climbed onto their roofs to escape the rising water. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Markets went into a frenzy today after the price of money suddenly skyrocketed to $90 a dollar. Onion reporter spoke to economics professor Mark Cosgrave about the soaring cost of U.S. currency and the impact of increasingly unpredictable dollar-to-dollar rates.
Right now, money prices are steeply rising with no signs of slowing down. This morning alone, the price of dollars nearly tripled, with 1 cent worth approximately $6. That's exponentially higher than even a week ago when money was trading at roughly $53 on the dollar. To put it bluntly, we're now in the midst of a national economic crisis.
According to Cosgrave, the abrupt spike in dollar prices initially caused many Americans to hold on to their money, hoping that the $90 cost of dollars would soon dip back down. But as prices continued to climb, investors panicked and began purchasing as much money as possible.
But with the cost of quarters hitting $4.97 and the $5 bill jumping to a 12-year high of $372, the days when you could get $30 or $40 for just a couple of bucks are unfortunately long gone.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live, 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 yeah. Yes, this is Free Talk Live. I've just made up lyrics to that song for all you listeners who've been listening to it for years. Didn't know there were lyrics.
Now there are.
Well, there are now, and as rock and roll tends to go, they're a bit redundant and repetitive and echoing and dual.
There probably are lyrics to that song. I just don't know what they are.
You can say that again.
Yeah.
It's the live Saturday night edition of Free Talk Live. 855-450 Free Like Freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Tonight, I am your host, the Captain, and I'm joined by
Ian.
And we are here to talk about all sorts of fun things and, well, take your calls and your
unfun
thoughts.
things like the election, where Bernie Sanders is apparently running away with the Nevada caucuses today.
I seen a great meme. It's a picture of Bernie, but then he's in like the white plantation owner's outfit, and he's got a little mustache and the little bow tie, and it says
like the Colonel.
It says free chicken for everyone. Colonel Bernie Sanders, everybody, is brought to you as only by audio description.
Which of these scum-sucking liars will be in charge?
Yeah, if you need a leader, well, you should be able to
pick one.
Go out and pick one, and
just don't
follow
force it
that
on me.
person.
I don't want your leaders.
I have no use for them. But you know what I do have a use for? Dogs. I love dogs. I'm a dog lover. I used to raise dogs. I've had dogs. Love dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs are man's best friend and all that kind of stuff.
Yep,
and in fact, I think I like canines as a species more than I like humans.
They don't talk back.
Well, and they'll like stand up for you and all the stuff you expect a friend to do. And there's a company named after dogs that I think you had an article about.
I do.
Greyhound. Greyhound. Leave the driving to them used to be their slogan for a bunch of years.
Yeah, and there's really, really good news. In fact, the last time we talked about Greyhound, there was also some pretty good news about how Greyhound is handling ICE, the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement Bureaucracy.
This is also known as The Man for our listeners out there.
Yeah, and the story we covered previously, and I think it was like, I don't know, a year or so ago maybe, was that Greyhound had actually been putting Know Your Rights information out on like giant posters in their various different facilities, right? So like the bus stops, there's posters, sort of self-promotional.
What kind of information did these posters contain?
Basically, know your rights in regards to how to handle encounters with the Border Patrol and the police.
Like don't talk to cops and all that kind of
stuff.
Wow,
you
that's
don't have
amazing.
to you don't have to consent to a search. Don't talk to the police, kind of, here's what your rights are, learn them, use them, that kind of thing.
That's amazing. How come more businesses don't do this kind of thing?
Well, in the case of Greyhound, they specifically had been targeted for more than a decade by the Border Patrol. What would happen would be they would pull a bus over and Border Patrol would board the bus. They would then, and I've never actually experienced this, so I've only read about it because the last time I rode a Greyhound was like 20 years ago. But the way they would do it would be they'd board the bus, and they would, of course, they're intimidating, right? Their job is to be intimidating. Yep. They're scary. They got a gun on their hip.
The shiny badge.
They got the badges. They got the uniform. They got their hand on their gun. They're walking down the aisle of the bus, and they're asking you questions. Who on this bus came from Mexico, or whatever the questions are that they're asking.
Yep.
And the thing is, you don't have a right. You don't have to answer their questions, right? So I'm not an attorney. This isn't legal advice, but it's my understanding it doesn't matter where you're from. Right. It doesn't matter if you came from Mexico or came from Canada or China or Kansas. You don't have to answer these people's questions. They aren't there looking for you specifically. They don't have a warrant for you. Even if they did have a warrant for you, you still wouldn't have to answer. Is Captain Kickass on this bus? You wouldn't have to raise your hand. You're not under any obligation to speak to these people.
Right.
Okay. And so that's what Greyhound was informing people of, was their right to remain silent.
I only wish more businesses would do this.
Sure.
This is so great.
Well, and again, they are doing it because they finally got to the point where they realized their customers are being hurt by this.
Right.
And they needed to step in.
Oh, you mean federal agents randomly pulling over buses interferes with their business model in some way?
Yeah.
Gosh, go figure.
And kudos to them for finally doing this. Now, it took a long time for them to figure it out and to finally stop being such an obedient little bitch corporation, which, of course, most corporations are going to go along to get along. They're going to do what they're told. Whatever the government says, they're going to jump 3 feet higher than they have to.
Compliant and docile.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of this obedience comes from. But finally, they put down their foot. They said, we're going to inform our riders. They had posters in Spanish, posters in English, letting people know their rights. Well, now they're going to the next level. This according to the Chicago Sun-Times, where Greyhound, the nation's largest bus company, said Friday that it will stop allowing Border Patrol agents without a warrant to even board their buses to conduct routine immigration checks. The company's announcement came 1 week after the Associated Press reported on a leaked Border Patrol memo confirming that agents can't board private buses without the consent of the bus company. Greyhound had previously insisted that even though it didn't like the immigration checks, it had no choice under federal law but to allow them. In an emailed statement, the company said it would notify the Department of Homeland Security that it does not consent to unwarranted searches of its buses or in areas of terminals that are not open to the public, such as company offices or any areas a person needs a ticket to access. So this is a big, big deal. And
that's just so I want to book a Greyhound ticket
just to say
right
you.
now. I got to figure out somewhere to go quick.
Greyhound said it would provide its drivers and bus station employees updated training regarding the new policy, meaning they're going to train their drivers to just say no. When these agents try to pull them over and harass them, they're going to be trained to say, no, unless you have a warrant, officer, you're not allowed to board this. Do you have a ticket or a warrant? Because one or the other, you're not getting on.
I wish I had the applause button to press because this deserves a standing ovation, in my opinion.
Well, I will have to train you on the applause button because it's
we have one.
It's in
hidden?
the show stuff folder under the SFX subfolder. You'll find it there.
All right, more training for me coming up.
Yep. So they say further, quote, our primary concern is the safety of our customers and team members, and we are confident these changes will lead to an improved experience for all parties involved. Well, finally, after 2 decades, they finally have figured out that their primary concern is for their customers. Now, look, I understand why companies don't want to do things like this. When they take a political stance like this, they are inevitably going to make somebody mad.
Right.
There's going to be somebody out there who says, well, I'm never gonna ride a Greyhound ever again in my life. These people trying to protect immigrants. They're trying to stop these good Border Patrol folks from getting on them buses and stopping these illegals. I'm never buying Greyhound again. So there's somebody out there that is saying that right now.
Yeah.
But
perhaps even in a variety of accents.
Maybe. However, Greyhound has made the decision that it's worth that risk. That they understand that the people that want to ride Greyhound, they're better serving their customers overall by protecting them from these police searches.
Yes.
Even if they're going to lose a few of their clients who are mad, they're not supporting the government. They've made a likely very calculated decision here, and kudos for them for going out on a limb, basically, and making the decision to protect some of their riders at the potential cost of angering some of the other riders.
Well, and I wonder, sometimes, we know from online life, social media, all that kind of thing, there's this thing called viral. Something goes viral, right? That just means it's generally either a fad or something that catches on quickly, right?
Yep.
And we know with any sort of social movement that, like, the second man is the most important, right? So there's always the first man, right, that everybody ridicules and thinks is crazy or whatever. They stand up for a thing, right? Like, slavery is bad. And at the time, everybody's like, everybody's got slaves. We've always had slaves, always going to have slaves or whatever. And so they look at him like he's ridiculous. It's the second person that stands up and supports that first person that's the most important in any social movement, right? It's called the second man. So I wonder who's the second business, right? If Greyhound is doing this, right? Who is the second business that's going to stand up and help their customers, quote unquote, and avoid these sorts of legal traps?
It's an interesting question, and there's more to say about this. So we'll do that coming up.
855-450 free, like freedom. Free Talk Live.
And how do you feel about it?
How do you feel? Give us a call. Let us know. freetalklive.com.
Don't miss this year's LibertyCon with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO John Mackey, Congressman Justin Amash, and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith. Attend 2 spectacular debates. Is government necessary, and does capitalism require government intervention? Network with over 70 pro-liberty organizations. This and a whole lot more. April the 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. Visit LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on LibertyCon.com.
Our history classes start teaching the Constitution around 1776 or even later. The foundation of our Constitution goes deeper than that. Without examining the context that gave America its principles and its founding documents, we cannot understand the foundation of our liberty and our constitutional republic. Liberty First University teaches online classes in a way that all ages find compelling and understandable, from middle school to law school. Join us at lfu.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at lfu.freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite.
Dinovite for life. Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Saturday night. We're already into the third hour of Free Talk Live on this live Saturday night edition. I am your host, the Captain, and I'm joined by
Ian.
Our toll-free number here, of course, is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. We're going to go to your calls and your thoughts. We have some callers on hold at the moment. But first, I wanted to tell you about Edge Wallet. It is available for iOS and Android as a mobile cryptocurrency wallet. You can buy, sell, trade, and securely hold a variety of cryptocurrencies. It's completely user-controlled. You own your money with support for BTC, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and many, many more. They have a veteran team of developers who've been building since 2014 with the tagline, Secure Your Freedom. You can find out more at edge.app. That's edge.app, edge.app. And so we've been talking a lot about a lot of stuff, but I wanted to just say hooray to Greyhound for putting up Know Your Rights posters for all of their travelers.
That was their first step.
What was the second?
Second step was down. So that was like a year ago. They started doing Know Your Rights stuff. Now they've determined that, in point of fact, they don't even have to let the Border Patrol on the bus at all.
Oh, right. That was right. And again, a major congratulations just across the board.
Yeah.
I wish more businesses would respond. And I had asked the question, who's the second business going to be? If you run a business and you're doing this type of stuff, or you're an employee of a business who does this type of stuff, call in, let us know.
Well, I mean, it's a different situation, say, for airlines, because they're lock, stock, and barrel owned by the government from top to bottom, as far as every airport they go to is run by the government. So therefore, they're subjected to the TSA. There's just no way they can get around that. So I don't think we're going to see any of the airlines like throwing off the TSA or anything like that anytime soon. But because Greyhound is on the roads, they have a little more leeway as far as, they're in their own private stations. The Greyhound bus stations are owned by Greyhound, or at the very least, Greyhound's paying a lease or rental fee for that. They're privately run. Most of them are.
They assumably own the buses themselves and all that. Yeah.
So they're locking out the Border Patrol from any private areas of their stations. Obviously, they can't keep Border Patrol out from the front sidewalks or whatever. But hey, if you don't have a ticket, mister, you can't come on this bus.
Well, let's take this moment to go to your calls and your thoughts, because
or Warren.
We have Mwesige. Am I pronouncing that correctly? He's calling from, I believe, Uganda. You're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, please. Mwesige Joram from Uganda. I'm the administrative officer, actually, and economic development
Man, it sounded good when we screened the call, too.
Sure did. We're getting a little bit of garble. I'm just going to put you on hold for a minute, Moisige. We're going to come back to you in just a minute. Stand by.
We had another listener who had actually tested the call with Moisige, who said that it was bad. And I said, well, we should test it because it might sound different to us, right? Like if you're in one area of the world and you test with somebody, it might be a different connection.
Yep.
And when we had him on during the break, it sounded okay. And now
I was
not
okay
so great.
on the screen, and we'll come back to him in just a minute and see if the connection improves, because that did sound like latency.
Well, he's probably got a really bad connection out wherever he is in Uganda, would be my guess.
Maybe. But we can come back to him in just a minute and give him another shot. I wanted to finish up our thoughts on Greyhound, though. Did we have more in the article?
Oh, yeah, there's a little bit more. They say that Greyhound, this is, by the way, from the Chicago Sun-Times, and by the way, they didn't get a comment from U.S. Customs and Border Protection. They did not return a call. Greyhound has faced pressure from the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, immigrants' rights activists, and Washington State Attorney General Bob Ferguson to stop allowing sweeps on buses within 100 miles of an international border or coastline. In many cases, the buses being checked were not crossing or even approaching an international boundary. Critics say the practice is intimidating and discriminatory and has become more common under President Donald Trump. Border Patrol arrests, but by the way, this has been going on for years, since back to the Bush presidency, through Obama as well.
Remember when they did that whole 100 miles within the border thing, which is a long way, by the way, away from a border, for you to be like, yeah, you're kind of near the border. 100 miles? You're not really near the border.
Border Patrol arrests videotaped by other passengers have sparked criticism, and Greyhound faces a lawsuit in California alleging it violated consumer protection laws by facilitating these raids. Andrea Flores, deputy director of the ACLU's Equality Division, said, quote, "We are pleased to see Greyhound clearly communicate that it does not consent to racial profiling and harassment on its buses. By protecting its customers and employees, Greyhound is sending a message that it prioritizes the communities it serves." Good! They should be prioritizing their customers, not these government goons.
Absolutely, 100%.
Who are harassing their customers. The Border Patrol has insisted that it doesn't profile passengers based on their appearance, but instead asks all passengers whether they are citizens or in the country legally. You don't have to answer these people. I just want to make it clear, again, not an attorney, but it's my understanding that you have no obligation to answer any government bureaucrat's questions at any time. And the thing that Greyhound's doing so brilliantly here is they're just not even allowing the questions to be asked anymore. Because it used to be that the government goons would get on the bus and they'd start asking their questions, go down the aisle, one person after person asking these questions. And that's intimidating. Even if you know your rights, it's still a scary situation.
Or even, and are they still doing those Viper teams where they just randomly show up at a Greyhound terminal and screen people?
That's TSA, and I don't know what's going on with them. I haven't seen a story about that, but that doesn't mean they're not doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that. That's a good question. If you've seen any activity or news about these Viper teams, we'd love to hear from you at 855-450-FREE. So the Border Patrol says the bus checks are an important way to ferret out human trafficking, narcotics, and illegal immigration. Well, guess you're going to have to figure out some other way to do that, bureaucrats. Some other bus companies, including Jefferson Lines, which operates in 14 states, and MTR Western, which operates the Pacific Northwest, have already taken similar steps to those announced by Greyhound. So there you go. They're not alone in this.
Nice.
Other bus companies are doing the same thing, and they beat Greyhound to it. So Greyhound is the second guy.
Nice.
Or the third. Flores said the ACLU will continue to push other bus companies to follow suit. The memo obtained by the AP was dated January 28th, addressed to all Chief Patrol agents, and signed by then Border Patrol Chief Carla Provost just before she retired. It confirms the legal position that Greyhound's critics have taken, that the Constitution's Fourth Amendment prevents agents from boarding buses and questioning passengers without a warrant or the consent of the company. And that's what Greyhound has been doing this whole time, claiming they thought that they had to allow the bureaucrats on.
Hey, at least they rethought it.
They did. They did. It took a lot of pressure, and God knows how much money the ACLU had to spend to make this happen. But
yeah. I mean, hooray for them! You're, like as you said, protecting their customers. These are people who have bought a ticket from one destination to another destination via your company in your bus. Of course, your first priority should be to protect them and get them from point A to point B, as the contract implies with their payment.
Final quote here. When transportation checks occur on a bus or non-checkpoint locations, the agent must demonstrate that he or she gained access to the bus with the consent of the company's owner or one of the company's employees. An agent's actions while on the bus, quote, would not cause a reasonable person to believe that he or she is unable to terminate the encounter with the agent. And let's talk about what that means coming up.
Would you be more likely to ride the Greyhound after hearing this news? I believe I would.
Yeah.
That's for certain. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. More of your calls and thoughts coming up.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
Yes, you're hanging out with us this Saturday night on the live edition. It's always live, at least between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Pacific. And that would be...
There you go, going for the Pacific times.
Yeah. Just in case there's any time travelers out there. I do a bit of that for my day gig where I have to deal with people in 4 different time zones at times. So,
do you have the different clocks on the wall like they do in the movies?
I do not, but whenever I get sort of fumbled up by somebody in a different time zone, I often think of doing exactly that. You're just getting the 4 different clocks and that kind of thing. So yes, it's the live Saturday night version. I am your host, Captain Kickass, and I'm joined by
Ian.
And I wanted to tell you about Liberty.menu. For years, libertarians of all stripes have wanted a directory of liberty-minded businesses. We're helping build one called Liberty.menu. Liberty.menu is a tool for your community. At its core, it's a directory for events, businesses, and digital content, and more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, and there's a bit of a social network so you can connect and share with others. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force, like I do, and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu, and remember to use code FTL to get a special badge. That's Liberty.menu. Please remember to take advantage of that. So let's go right into your calls and your thoughts. Joining us via Discord is Bad Slave. Bad Slave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Well, thank you, Captain.
What's on your mind?
I wanted to report that, not, in a few years back, I was on a couple of trips across New York along Lake Erie or Lake Ontario.
Okay.
One of those, so basically, because that was close to the border of, through the middle of the St. Lawrence Seaway, the Border Patrol, just, on the Greyhound bus, I was on a couple of different Greyhound bus trips.
Yeah, and then what happened?
One was in Erie, PA, and, they climbed on.
When was this?
I guess this would have been as many as 7-8 years ago.
Yeah, they've been doing this for the last 2 decades. Okay, go ahead. So they climbed on,
and they're inquiring, what's your citizenship, and all of this stuff,
asking everyone, right, on the bus.
Yeah. And the one in PA, it was daytime and I was awake, and so my response to them when they wanted to know what my citizenship was, I just told them I'm an Ohio native.
Okay.
Oh, you told them more than you had to.
I did, yeah, but it just, I knew it wasn't going to betray anything. I didn't live in Ohio anymore. And
see, now you're somebody who should know better, honestly, Bad Slave. I mean, you should have known that you didn't have to tell these people anything. And that would have been a perfect opportunity to put on a demonstration for the rest of the passengers and show them how to exercise their rights.
Well, the fact is I didn't answer their question. And
but you kind of did.
They chimed in and says, "Oh, so you're an American citizen." And I didn't say yes or no. And then there was another time that it was the middle of the night, and I pretended to be asleep, and they just went by me.
Did you happen to witness and I'm assuming these are, ICE or Customs or somebody along those lines if you were on the Greyhound, but did you notice or witness them, taking anybody off of the bus?
I don't think so. Not in those 2 cases.
So basically, this sounds like a captive audience who were stopped and frisked without their consent, arguably.
Yeah, well, they didn't look at anybody's stuff, and there may have actually been a handgun.
Did they have a dog or anything like that? Did you notice a police dog with them?
No, they didn't bring a dog.
Okay.
They didn't bring a dog. Either one.
All right.
Well,
thanks for the story.
Yeah, thanks for sharing the story, Bad Slave. We appreciate the call, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, and obviously people are going to do what they're going to do in those circumstances, and they're intimidating, and I'm not saying that he was intimidated, but you don't have to answer their question.
Yeah. I mean,
so why bother? Why even give them the dignity of responding to that question at all?
I get that as a human being, it might be a little difficult to not talk to somebody who's in your face wearing a badge with their hand on their gun, or even perhaps they've flipped the little latch off of their gun, so now their gun is ready to be pulled at a moment's notice, and they fear for their life or whatever they claim. I understand that in the face of that, it is difficult to keep your mouth shut. I get that as a human being, but it's imperative, in my opinion, again, not an attorney, but in my opinion, there is no reason that I can think of to talk to the police at all, ever.
No, you don't want to do that. And look, I'm also not an attorney, so I can't give legal advice, but the best response I've ever seen, because nowadays there's this stupid Supreme Court ruling that basically says that even though you have a right to remain silent, you have to exercise it. You have to say that you're going to remain silent, which is so counterintuitive and stupid. But that's my understanding of that ruling. So if you feel like you must respond, although as he pointed out, he was asleep, pretending to be asleep one time, and they didn't touch him, right? They didn't try to wake him up. So that's one approach, I suppose. But also you could say, I don't answer questions.
I like that one.
And then if they come at you again with another question, you say,
I don't answer questions.
Yeah, and then just keep saying it until they get it through their thick skull that you're not going to be intimidated into answering their questions. And they'll move on. And here's what else I'd recommend. Pull out your video camera, because remember, the story said that the passengers recorded some of these interactions, and that's what went, some of these things, I never actually ended up hearing about these videos until reading about them, but those went and got shared, and that's what got some outrage stirred about what was going on, because it's one thing to hear it from somebody, it's another thing to actually see this happening, where some goons come on this bus in the middle of the night or whenever it was and start intimidating people into obeying them and answering their questions. Grab the video camera and then exercise your rights in front of everybody else. Put on a show.
Yeah, in this day of technology, the camera is your friend.
Absolutely. It's your best friend.
When it's your camera, and particularly if you've done nothing wrong, if you've not harmed a person or property.
And you got to remember, people are real social animals. They tend to follow the pack. As much as we might want folks to be individuals and leaders and step away from the pack, that's just not how people are.
Well, yeah.
So when you hold up your video camera, if you're the first person to do it, there's a good chance you might empower another person to grab their, oh, wow, I can record this? And then all of a sudden, 3 more cameras pop up on the
I should
bus.
get a backup in case that guy confiscates his camera or something, right?
And then maybe somebody will be streaming it live on their social media site, and then somebody else will be recording it, or somebody else has Cell 411, and they just... So the more people can do this, the better. And the same thing's true in a lot of circumstances. It can be as simple as just crossing the street. This is one of my favorite examples of going up to a street corner where you've got the push to cross button, and typical people just stand there and wait, even though there's no cars around, or it's clearly safe to cross in one direction, right?
Yeah.
And if you just stand there, people will just stand there. But as soon as one person starts to cross, a lot of the people who are standing there will go with the flow.
I've also seen that in action, and either been the instigator or the partaker.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely an interesting phenomena. 855 450 free. Do you follow the pack or do you lead the pack?
Do you feel like many of us? All the distractions in the world taking our minds and focus off what really needs to get done day to day? Well, Jeunesse has a dietary supplement called Mind to help with mental distraction, and it supports memory function. Go to gcnlife.com now to check it out. You're only at your best when your mind is at its best. Go to gcnlife.com or call toll-free 844-443-6637. That's gcnlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Hey guys, it's Sue Cosner, your favorite sexual health expert, with another version of Ask the Pro. This month, I got a letter from Sandy in Seattle about an explosive bedroom secret she and her husband recently discovered. She writes, Dear Sue, my husband and I used to have a great life in the bedroom, but in the last few years, he has struggled. He's tried about everything, but nothing has worked. Then one day he came home and gave me a night I will never forget. He told me about this secret formula, Noxitril, that changed our life in the bedroom once and for all. Wow, Sandy, you beat me to it. I recommend Noxitril to every guy that struggles in the bedroom. It's the only one. Noxitril is all natural and works to increase blood flow fast. It's like that little blue pill on steroids. Noxitril has a special free bottle offer, shipped discreetly to your door.
To find out how to get your bottle of Noxitril, call 800-421-0954. 800-421-0954. Get your free bottle for a limited time. Call now. 800-421-0954. 800-421-0954.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Now, there is Reveal. Beverly Hills celebrity dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman took nearly a decade to develop Reveal from natural botanicals to return to a full-body head of hair. Reveal for men and women with a 30-day money-back guarantee at gcnlife.com or toll-free 844-443-6637. 844-443-6637. Reveal at gcnlife.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Come on! It is Saturday night, and we're here at Free Talk Live. 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Call in, give us your thoughts. And we're going to go back to your calls and your thoughts in just a minute. But first, I wanted to tell you about ForkFest 2020. Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 29th until July 5th for ForkFest 2020 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire, which I'll be getting to see for my first time. So come join us.
It's very nice.
Party with the captain at ForkFest.
Watch out for the checkpoint in Woodstock that they tend to put up. Usually it's southbound, though, so it'll be on your way back. Since we've been talking about the Border Patrol and harassing people on the roads, there's actually a fairly regularly occurring Border Patrol checkpoint that happens in northern New Hampshire. And myself and some other Free Talk Live co-hosts a couple of years ago actually made a point of running through that checkpoint and recording video and standing up for our rights. And it went very well.
That's journeyman level advice. Be careful when it comes to the man on your way to Forkfest, which happens the week after Porcupine Freedom Festival, and Forkfest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That also means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 29th until July 5th. Where better to celebrate Independence Day this year than around other freedom-loving activists in the Shire?
I'm excited.
I am too.
There's not a better place that you could possibly be that weekend.
You can simply relax and go camping with other Liberty lovers, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for Forkfest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with other Forkfesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the Forkfest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. That's forkfest.party, P-A-R-T-Y.
You know, Taryn Lupo, I don't think you've probably met him yet.
I have not.
He's an interesting guy. He did some co-hosting with us for a little while. He used to live in this region of New Hampshire. He now lives up in the northern part of the state, so we haven't seen him down here in a while. But he was a regular Porcupine Freedom Festival attendee, and he used to throw a party every single year, kind of like with a different theme. So one year it was pirate-themed, another year was like 80s-themed.
All right.
And so he's always throwing a big party at the Porcupine Freedom Festival. This year he joined the Forkfest chat room at you can go to forkfest.party, and there's a link to the Telegram chat room there.
Okay.
And he announced that he was no longer going to be attending the Porcupine Freedom Festival, that he was going to begin attending Forkfest instead, and he's going to throw his party.
He has forked himself.
Yeah, he's going to throw his party that he throws every year at Forkfest instead of the Porcupine Freedom Festival. And he came up with a great name because, again, Forkfest, it's a decentralized thing.
Yeah.
So, like, you want to call it something else, you can call it something else. I mean, there's no official name for this thing. It's just the time of the year when these libertarians get together at this campground. So he's calling it Porkfest Classic, which I just thought was a super cool name.
Original recipe, bro.
Yeah, I love it because it really did have in 2019, which was its third year. So this will be its fourth year this year.
Yep.
But in 2019, it really captured the feel of the old Porcupine Freedom Festivals. And I had been going to the Porcupine Freedom Festival since 2007, so I've been to quite a few of them. And it really did have that vibe to it, especially on the penultimate night which is the night before the last night, of Forkfest last year. And then what happened was the last night, some of the Porcupine Freedom Festival people started showing up to kind of get set up the day before, because it used to be that Forkfest came before
was first,
the Porcupine
and then
Freedom
Forkfest
Festival.
was next.
And because all these Porcupine Freedom Festival people were there, like their security staff showed up and they're like puttering around on golf carts, and they started putting up their Porcupine Freedom Festival signs and the rules for the Porcupine Freedom Festival. And so this feeling came across the festival, and it just kind of died. Forkfest kind of went away that final night.
Buzzkill, man.
Yeah, it was total buzzkill. The vibe was totally different on that last night. It was like real quiet. Everybody was in bed early. There was no late night. Whereas the night before that, it was like 4 a.m. Things are going strong. Everything's going good. There's like the party tent. There's the dome. There's all these things happening. So now that the festivals are reversed, meaning the Porcupine Freedom Festival is going to happen, then the transition's going to happen into Forkfest.
Yeah.
And then once Forkfest is over, it's over. So it's going to be an interesting feel this year. It's going to be very different, and I'm excited about it.
I have to just share a little thing. So I'm friends with some folks in a band out of Colorado, the Denver area, called MF Ruckus. And I'll let you decide.
We can't say what the MF stands for.
Yeah, but and they have great music. They're a rock and roll party band, right? They're one of the greatest live bands I've ever seen. I'm surprised they're not, doing better than they are, but they're a really good band. Anyway, before they were called MF Ruckus, they were called Fourth Year Freshmen. And they spelled it all weird too, like FORTHYEER, fresh, right? Yeah, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But it occurs to me that I'll be attending Forkfest in its fourth year, but yet I will be a Forkfest freshman. So I am truly
finally the embodiment,
the fourth year freshman. So Yeah, guys in MF Ruckus, if you are listening, I am the embodiment of your former band name.
All right, cool. Well, I think it's great. Forkfest.party or Porkfest Classic. I hope somebody registers that website too. Like, that would be cool to have two different websites about the same event, basically, and just sort of marketing it differently or whatever.
That'd be great. Let's go to some of your calls and your thoughts. Let's go to Pope James in the Vatican. Pope James, you are on Free Talk Live.
Hello?
Pope James.
Going once.
Pope James
going twice. Well, I can't say we really missed out on much.
Pope James sold to the highest bidder for a winning quantity of nothing. My favorite type.
Hey, by the way, we've been talking about knowing your rights and exercising your rights. Yeah. I just so happen to have a magazine here in the studio.
What is this ancient artifact of which you speak?
It's not that ancient. Well, you mean magazines in general, the anachronism.
Magazine?
The anachronism of the magazine. This is the winter 2020 issue of ACLU magazine, which they sent to me because I like the New Hampshire version of the ACLU. The national one, not as good. But they still have some good information. They take some good positions on some pretty important civil liberties issues. And one of those is knowing your rights. There's actually a story in here about immigration and specifically what to do. So remember, we said we're not attorneys, so we can't give legal advice. But the ACLU is attorneys.
And they can give legal advice.
What
do they have to say, Ian?
Which we can read to you. Now, this one's pretty brief. It talks about raids by Immigration and Customs Enforcement have been diminished in part because of information sharing inside and outside of immigrant communities and via social media about what to do when approached by the police or ICE, which is Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the federal customs and border patrol people. Here's some advice that citizens and non-citizens alike can share with their immigrant friends and neighbors.
I'm all ears.
And not just their immigrant friends and neighbors. This is for everyone. Point 1. And there's only 3 here, 3 points. Remain silent when questioned about immigration status. That includes people who are born here, okay? I want to make that clear. Immigrants don't have to answer the question, and native-born people don't have to answer the question. Because you have a right to remain silent, no matter who you are.
The whole preposterousness of what plot of dirt you were born on gives you certain rights or not rights is just that. It's preposterous.
Because rights, if you believe in them, and we do here on Free Talk Live. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I presume you do believe in rights.
We have rights.
Yeah. Well, it's a belief, okay? You can't prove you have rights. It's a common belief that is a good belief to have. It is a beneficial belief because the idea of rights are human rights, not citizen rights.
I've certainly exercised my rights at certain points in my life. So
yeah. And you have rights because you're a human being, not because you were born, your mother pushed you out of her womb on a specific plot of land. Right. That doesn't have to do with it. What the government is supposed to do, the government gang here in the United States, is they're supposed to respect your rights. Now, we know they don't, and that's what Immigration and Customs Enforcement is up to when they're trying to ask you a bunch of questions and harass you and intimidate you. So remain silent. That's point 1. Point 2, keep doors closed to ICE officers who show up at homes or businesses unless they have arrest warrants. Keep doors closed. Doesn't say open up and have a chat. If you want to talk to them, which again, you shouldn't. Remember, point 1, remain silent.
Right.
But keep the doors closed. You don't have to answer the door for these people. If they've got a warrant, they're coming in anyway.
Fact.
Okay? And then finally, contact an attorney immediately and refuse to sign any documents if detained.
I like how they don't say, dial 911. No,
yeah, that's not going to help you.
They say, call your attorney.
Right.
Find somebody that you trust who has a degree in law and call them.
And, of course, it wouldn't help to have the attorney, before any of these things go down.
We're out of time already. Jeez, man.
But we'll be back tomorrow.
We will. Free Talk Live 7 nights a week. Catch us on your local radio stations.
I'd like to add something here. ACLU.org/KYR, standing for Know Your Rights, to get more information.
Know Your Rights. We'll see you all the next time. This has been Free Talk Live. Find our archive.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18